Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin climbing up slightly, has been climbing up slightly since my last video here. In the last 7 days, 5% upside and around 3% upside in the last 24 hours. As always, when Bitcoin is slightly going higher, we see many altcoins move up very strongly as well, especially today. The Near protocol made a video on that already. So Near really one crypto that I have a lot of hope for. Other than that, pretty much the usual suspects here. Cardano today as well. Just uploaded another video for Cardano as well. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is continuing to be in this ascending channel here. It struggled here deeply or strongly to get through the 200-day moving average, a little bit more than I anticipated. Well, as it broke above that 45.8k, now it actually has more space to the upside, space to move higher. We did observe here in the last couple of days that retest of the 45.5k level. That was not a problem in my opinion at the moment. This is actually rather a bullish signal, because while we came down quite strongly at the moment, it is nothing else than just a retest of a previous resistance level as a support level. And that is actually quite bullish. Unfortunately, what we don't have after we broke above that, or after we retested, is increased volume. Ideally, you want to see the volume to push higher and to have the power to push higher. At the moment, we don't see that yet. So next resistance for Bitcoin would be here. That 200-day moving average continues to be resistance around 48.2k. It needs to push higher than that. If it breaks above that, what do we have next? Then we've got the 51k level. That is not only that previous high here of the wave 4, it's also the 50% retracement level, and would be the target that I would expect at a minimum for this wave B to reach here, this red line, But ideally we want the price to reach this target area here between 55 and 65k, within which I think the roughly the 61k level would be the ideal target. That would be ideal for such a retracement. And I'm talking about a retracement because we came down impulsively here, and now we're retracing in a wave B, and then you're going to come down again, in my opinion. In that yellow region here between 20 and 29k in a wave C. That would complete that wave 2 as well, after which we can then move to new all-time highs. I don't think that we are already ready to move to new all-time highs. Of course, there is always a possibility, and everything is only probabilities, but in my opinion, I would give it only a very low probability. It's certainly not my primary scenario to move to new all-time highs from here. It's a very low probability. In my opinion, Bitcoin needs to complete its correction. It would do that only if it breaks below that low from June at 28.7k, and then it would get into this target area. In here, the ideal level would be the 27k level. That is the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement. And on the lower end of the target area, we've got the 200 week moving average. Below, Bitcoin didn't really or never really dropped. And also that is the peak of the last bull market. So that's all looking interesting. That could be a massive head and shoulders. What we are doing at the moment, we still have this head and shoulders at play. So we talked about that earlier in the year actually, this massive head and shoulders pattern here that you can see on the chart here, that has been at play for a very long time here. We talked about that previously. We then talked about the price coming down, retesting that neckline, which was quite a bearish sign, successfully retesting the neckline of that head and shoulders. Then the price came down again, but found support here, and it's now coming up for retest again. So it is really here a decision point again, for Bitcoin. This is still at play in my opinion, but overall, because Bitcoin broke above that 45.8k level, I primarily expect now the price to move into this range. But the message generally remains that in each of my two scenarios here, the price would not get to new all-time highs. Therefore, everybody should have another opportunity to buy back lower. Of course, I don't know. Nobody knows. It's all probabilities. It is all probabilities, and I can only tell you what I see in the charts here. Eventually, you need to make your own decisions. What I can only tell you that I started to buy Bitcoin when it dropped below 40k. And yeah, again, I bought again when it broke above that 45.8k level, because this was such an important level for the structure as well for Bitcoin. And it now actually has more space to move higher. But what we need is just that breakout above the 200-day moving average. So a very, very important level. Yeah. So, and if someone asks, why do we need to make that lower low? That is typically how you finish a correction off. You need to make that lower low typically. Yeah. Of course, there are exceptions possible, but they are what they are. They are exceptions. And you typically, we made our all-time high back here in April 21. Since then, we have been in a correction in a wave A, made with a wave B a new all-time high, just an overshooting wave B, very, very much a 3-wave structure here. And then we came down here in a 5-wave move, but it has not completed the correction yet. We need to do this so-called expanded flat, in my opinion. Yeah, that is just what I find the most likely scenarios, the most likely scenario, where we just need to come below that wave A low. Yeah, that is also what many altcoins did. Bitcoin hasn't done that yet. Polkadot hasn't done that yet. And maybe a couple of others haven't done it yet. But I have more confidence in coins that have reached their target area, because this means that they have fulfilled the minimum requirements of the correction and they can theoretically move to a new all-time high. It doesn't mean they must, but it means they can. Bitcoin will struggle, in my opinion. Yeah. So there have been plenty of opportunities for other coins that I covered, yeah, that reached their target areas. Unfortunately, Bitcoin hasn't done that yet. I still see Bitcoin doing it, and therefore, yeah, I leave here this. I'm still following this primary scenario where we would now, after we broke above that 45.8k level, move higher. Yeah, maybe another 20-25% before we eventually will see that reversal to the downside. Generally, the cryptos or the indicators here still push higher. Yeah, so they enable Bitcoin to move higher. There is still scope, especially on the 4-day chart. You can see we have high momentum on the stochastic RSI, which is bullish. The RSI still has a lot of room to the upside, and we also have that bullish crossover on the momentum indicator. So all of that, even on the weekly, we have that now, and we've got the weekly bullish MACD crossover. So all of these are actually good signals for Bitcoin, and they would support here my primary scenario that the price should move higher here before it comes down once more. So, and that is really one more thing I wanted to show you, and that's on the 4-day chart. What we now have on the 4-day chart, we had that a few days ago on the daily chart, and we saw a price reversal to the downside, a retest before. You now have this hanging man pattern or hammer pattern on the 4-day chart. That is usually a bearish reversal pattern. Just want to show it to you. It is something that we need to keep an eye on. I don't know if it is going to play out, if it is going to work out, but it is a pattern where you can, it just shows you here that the buyers struggled to push the price higher. Then we had the counter reaction of the bears, and the buyers stepped in again, tried to buy, but failed to buy to previous highs. So this is a potential bearish reversal pattern. Just want to show it to you. I need to make you aware of it. Yeah, always keep here both options on the table, just to be aware. And that's what investors, or especially traders, need to do. You need to see all the signs and then come to your conclusions and make your decisions. This is certainly something that we need to keep an eye on. We only see it on the 4-day chart. Don't see it on the weekly yet, but it's looking fairly similar here, that pattern. And bear in mind, the week is over. Yeah, nearly. So we've got another 1 to 2 days before the weekly candle is closing. So for example, here, those candles were the opposite. They were rather the opposite, yeah, as you can see here. And here we've got the where you have the wick to the upside, and here's the other way around. So could indicate here a potential reversal to the downside. We just need to keep that option on the table until Bitcoin really breaks above that 200-day moving average. So yeah, that is my view here about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.